ABNCast has moved on to the Panasonic Avionics stand to meet with Tom Eskola. Welcome, Tom. Thanks for inviting us onto the stand. Tom is the Vice President for Panasonic Technical Services. This is our annual meeting. We last spoke, I think, in Barcelona in MRO Europe. So welcome to ABN's home city.
Thank you very much.
I hope you've been enjoying the last couple of days.
Yeah, again, it's a very busy show, and we're very happy to be here.
Yeah, like you were saying, a lot of airlines have been coming through talking to you, so that's obviously the key thing for
very true.
Your presence here.
Yeah, we so Panasonic as a whole. We work with all the airlines globally, and our technical services division is responsible for doing the line maintenance and the repairs of any LRU that comes back in. And so we do have good relationships with nearly every airline in the world.
But still good to see people here face to face.
It is.
You never do more. You can't do too much face to face.
Yeah, very true. And in the past, we didn't participate in these kind of shows as frequently. But we're finding them to be much more interactive with airline customers, and it's just one customer meeting after another, which is what we like.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So 12 months ago, when we met and we spoke about the announcement, then actually was a ramping out of your ground handling capabilities. You were doing more in the US, I think it was, wasn't it? Just how that was the announcement then. It's obviously 12 months on. How's that gone?
That's correct. So today we actually have 13 separate line stations that have our ground handling capability.
Yeah.
The map that we have right behind us shows in yellow all of the different line stations that we have that capability, and we have active contracts with actually. I think the total number of airlines that we have ground handling has surpassed 15 separate airlines.
Okay.
And actually, the business is growing fairly well.
Yeah.
The
speed of growth is continuing, or even increasing, is it?
It's increasing.
Yeah.
And so we do expect that in about an 18-month period, we're doubling the amount of business that we had with ground handling.
And what's pushing that? What's the push factor there?
So we have a foothold in a couple of different line stations, and once we have a capability that's set up, that capability allows us to very quickly bid and assume maintenance for an airline, and it gives the airline options. There's a lot of airlines that have seasonal travel into certain places in Australia, New Zealand, and that seasonal changes gives us an opportunity to be the partner for the airline as they change their route network.
Okay.
And so it's been, once we have our foot in the door, we've got that first contract with the airline, and we do well.
Yeah, that bring more business your way.
Brings more business our way.
Yeah.
But every airline that we've worked with, they want to start with us.
Yeah.
And then make sure we can handle it and do it well.
Yeah.
And once we've exceeded their expectations, that's when they start awarding more business.
Yes, building trust is so important in an industry like
it's
this.
So critical, and the teams that we have they're laser focused on making sure that they're preventing delays on the aircraft. They're making sure that the turns go out within whatever compliance and regulatory rules are applicable to that airline.
Yeah. So you always keep a few announcements for shows like this. So there's been a few. First one is a partnership with China Airlines. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so with China Airlines, we have been, the PTS organization has been looking to expand in Asia Pacific for quite some time.
Yeah.
And by signing this deal with China Airlines, it allows us to begin a long-term relationship. We have a 10-year contract with this great airline out of Taiwan. And I think showing that relationship and having it be something that we are that we take pride in. We want to do a good job for this customer, and I think it'll open the door to a further expansion, maybe into China and into Korea as well.
Yeah, the focus at the moment for China Airlines is on the 777s. Is that right? So,
yes, I think it was the 777s.
Yeah. And you're providing IFEC operations to them over this 10-year contract. It's a long-term contract.
It's a long-term contract, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The entry China's a really interesting market. We were in Singapore a few weeks ago running our predictive aircraft maintenance, our first ever APAC edition of that. Because obviously APAC itself generally is a very interesting market for aviation, clearly, very dynamic and growing. But China itself is interesting because it is big already. There's 53 airlines in China, I was led to believe, and many of them we've never heard of in the West. They operate within China, and the key thing there is operating on time and efficiency, as opposed to other factors that other airlines might have to play with. But in entering the Chinese market, just talk about the Chinese market a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
It's a difficult market to enter, I guess, but once you're in, there's a lot of business there potentially for.
Yeah, I think there is. Most of the airlines would like to work with their local MROs that are in China already, and it's very difficult for companies outside of China to break into that. Yeah. And we've been very successful in selling our in-flight entertainment products to multiple airlines within China. And even our Eskola product is being sold, which is the latest generation of our IFE system. Yeah. And we also have a lot of connectivity aircraft that are connected over Wi-Fi. There are repairs that we do, and today we actually have a partnership with Heiko and Xiaomen for a repair capability, and that is one of the areas that we're looking to expand our presence even more and be able to do more out of that repair center as well in China.
So the other announcement involves Riyadh Air. It's a lot of people want to talk about Riyadh Air. There's a lot of excitement in the industry about this new airline that's going to do things differently and so on. So tell us what you're doing with Riyadh.
Yeah, Riyadh is a really exciting airline, and I think their digital platform, the capabilities that they're bringing to the table, the suite of services that we're offering, that's going to be right in front of the passenger, is going to be an amazing interactive environment for passengers on board the aircraft. And they're going to launch with the Panasonic IFE systems, and our PTS organization is already setting up and have hired staff in Riyadh to be able to support their long-term maintenance needs. Again, we have a 10-year contract with Riyadh Air to provide line maintenance services, spares, and repairs and tech advisory to be able to ensure that we're fully supporting this airline. One of the things that we have talked about recently is how we're defining the performance parameters for some airlines, and the way that I like to think about our performance is really engagement by the minute. Right. Panasonic is not just delivering in-flight entertainment systems. We're not just entertaining passengers. We're engaging with passengers. And that engagement is really allowing us to. It's becoming more important for us to ensure that every single minute on board that aircraft, that every part of our system is working properly. And Riyadh has made the investment in Panasonic IFE systems as well as the maintenance to make sure that every passenger has the best experience.
It is about the experience. This is what they're going to be offering.
It is.
You expect beyond anything that's currently available because of, I mean, there's a big hype around it, but I'm sure they've got the hardware. They're operating 787s, fleet of 32s. So we look forward to that, and like you say, the key thing there is that as these aircraft are in service, that they're maintained properly so that everybody gets that service. Because if we don't get it, then you've got an unhappy customer.
Yeah, that's correct. And Riyadh Air has made really, in my opinion, they've made very good decisions about bringing us on board as a maintenance provider. Because we do have the capability, we have the spare parts, we have the technical expertise. We're very close to our engineering teams, and the fact that they're starting with our latest system, it really gives us the opportunity to have access to almost near real-time information about how the aircraft are flying.
So they got the Strova platform on board.
Correct.
It's a real showcase about what Panasonic can do. We go to your announcements at AIX. We were there for the Strova announcement, and you talk what this can do, but of course, until it's actually out there flying, no one can see it. And it needs a case study almost, and this is what Riyadh Air will be, that case study, right?
Yeah, that's very true, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that they're performing at the highest level possibly.
Maintaining what goes on in the cabin we know it's kind of it's not the highest profile part of the MRO world.
Very true.
Airframes and engines understandably and a lot of what we talk about in this show is focused on that, but it is growing in importance for the reasons we just mentioned about the experience these airlines increasingly offering and selling against.
Right.
So are you seeing it increasing in its importance and profile?
I definitely am, and I'm seeing it increase across every major airline, that they want to ensure that their passengers are experiencing a technology experience that's similar to what they have at home. And most people don't even have an OLED display at home.
No.
Right? And that's what we're putting with the Eskola. Every single one of those monitors is going to be an OLED. It's the latest generation of technology.
For those who don't know what OLED is, it's the latest generation screens which provides a cinematic style
Very true.
visual experience, I guess. Is that
very true? Yes, and we're the only IFE provider that is offering these OLED screens.
Yeah.
The systems are becoming very technologically advanced. They have a lot of capabilities, and the digital capabilities of being able to have applications and over-the-air streaming, and the Wi-Fi integration for a connected and personalized seatback experience is becoming more and more important for all of our airlines.
Yeah. I was at World Aviation Festival last week. It's been a busy couple of days.
Yes.
And you guys were there launching the new maps functionality, the ARC system, which, I mean, a map is a map, but actually, no, it's not. And in this modern digital world, a map is as interactive as a film or a TV show or a computer game, isn't it?
Very true. And I just heard from one of our map experts in the company that maps are still the most watched channel.
That's what they were saying.
On board the aircraft.
I did sit next to a guy on a flight to the Singapore flight, actually, and he had maps on the whole way, but he was asleep. So whether they're really engaging with it or they just put it on as default. But I think actually it's true. You're flying over so many amazing places. And every now and then you think, well, where are we? And what's below us? And
very true.
It's a great experience to go. I'm experiencing the world. I'm going to one destination, but as I'm flying over places, where am I? In the world.
No, that's good. And I think if you think about the digital ecosystem and what Panasonic PTS does as a business, that map content is, and not just the maps, but the other services that are on board. There's going to be movies that are changing frequently. There's going to be advertisements that get loaded. Some of them are going to be route-based. There's going to be personalization where your seat back is going to know who you are. Yeah. And you're going to be able to potentially even customize in a few years your seat back experience to be something that you're more familiar with and that can follow you from flight to flight. And the PTS organization is getting ourselves ready to be able to operate in this digital environment. We have to have near real-time monitoring. Yeah. We have to have the capability to look at the offloaded data and be able to parse that. We've applied a large language model to the offloaded data in our data lake to be able to understand the line maintenance capability.
This is AI in practice. It's correct. Being used.
Correct. And we're looking at the use cases that are going to be most beneficial for us.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about being able to leverage the new technologies and be able to take disparate data sets that have no connection to each other in general, and then be able to use that for something meaningful.
Well, I remember your big launch at last AIX in Hamburg was I can't remember what it was called, but the onboard server, the next gen. Yes, that's right. And that in itself, obviously, it helps with the personalization of the onboard content and the streaming and all the connectivity.
Right.
But it then allows the aircraft itself to be spewing out lots more data of how it's functioning.
Right.
So when you come to the maintenance and repair it, you get more information, and you can be doing that in real time and anticipating problems rather than not always reacting to them.
Yeah. Very true. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages that Panasonic has, the PTS organization, because we're so closely intertwined with the OEM provider of the IFE systems. It gives us access to all the maintenance data, all the information, the performance data, the usage data, and even the tools that allow us to load content and validate that it's been loaded correctly.
Okay.
And so we're going to be looking at options to load content, to load movies, to load connecting gate information, as well as any way that the airline wants to interact with their passengers. Our new systems are going to be capable of delivering that digital experience for the airlines.
And that bottom line, and ultimately for it, it's a great service to have. You don't pay for it up front as a customer. You may sort of in the cost of the flight or the seat, but it offers that ability to retail or to at least engage on the flight. Right. And it opens up, who knows what revenue streams. We will see. Maybe Riyadh Air will show us what you can do on a flight. But
very true.
As you've always said, you've got this captured audience for whatever it is, number of hours. I mean, why not?
Very true.
It's very rare that you get that.
And I think Riyadh Air is going to be really exciting when they launch. Because it does have the latest generation of products. It's got a very unique digital capability, and the way that they're able to interact with passengers is going to be something that I believe is going to help the industry progress.
Is that the kind of thing that spurs everyone else to follow suit, do you think? I mean, do you get these bursts of innovation when you get a pioneer and a trailblazer coming through?
So Panasonic as a company has a very strong product management team, product management and marketing. And since we've been in business more than 40 years, we look at the life cycle of what's happening on board the aircraft. And our goal is to not just engage with passengers, but also to solve airline problems. The newest systems are lighter. They have less parts. They're easy. I can't say easier to maintain, but they have different tools that are going to be used to maintain the aircraft, and we need to progress. Just as the technology progresses, the organization also will progress to be able to support it.
So talking of progress, just before we wrap up, looking to the future, you've got a roadmap of things that you want to do as a business. You'll have heard a lot of feedback from the airlines this week about what they want from you. So where is your focus from 2025 onwards, do you think?
So for me, one of the biggest areas is to make sure that the organization is performing at peak efficiency.
Right.
Obviously, we start at safe and compliant operations. We are bounded by all the regulatory rules that airlines are as it relates to the regulatory approvals overall. So that's the foundation. That's where we start. Everything else is about making sure that our capabilities progress with technology, that our actions and the processes and procedures that we have are aligned with the airline processes, so we can more remotely manage some of the things that we used to have to send technicians to the aircraft to do.
Right.
So we're looking at potentially remote software loading, remote content loading, and being able to leverage those digital tools and the connections, the high-speed connections to the aircraft. By creating a vision of the future that allows us to leverage those tools, we can actually be more agile. We can connect to the aircraft anytime it's turned on. As opposed to having to wait until it lands at a line station.
And you'll see it around here. I'm looking over there. There's obviously someone with a few drones over there. There's some amazing hardware being developed to assist you with not the Panasonic develops, but you have partners that can provide this amazing software to help with that. So we'll see that in use.
Some of the values of this show, right? You could just walk around, go aisle to aisle, and be able to see some of the latest innovations that are happening throughout the entire industry. So it's exciting to see.
One of the great things that comes to the show, I guess, you want to talk to your airline partners, but actually you're out there looking to see what's going on
very much
yourself.
So. And I was out taking pictures yesterday and talking to a few potential businesses that we can use.
Look, Tom, unfortunately our time is up for another year.
No problem.
Next year, Amsterdam, I think, isn't it?
That's
so
correct.
we'll probably catch up, if not before then. But thanks for joining us on ABNCast.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thanks very much. Cheers.